people or set of people, we do call them, you said Bola, now they call them Babambola or something like that. And we see them moving around, usually with sack, and also sometimes they also this iron, something like a wheelbarrow or something, fabricated wheel that they use in convening all these, I would say stolen, because you see them, you see public facilities missing, intermittently. And that shows that some people are actually behind it. And I'm so happy with the recent development, particularly in the FCT, that you also rightly mentioned. Some of them were paraded, and we saw the items that were recovered from them. And of course, there is no two words to it. They were stolen. Those public infrastructure were vandalized. And this is also against the Constitution. It's against the law. And I'm happy that in Abuja now, they are taking this matter very seriously. Both the minister of the FCT, we can know the look face, and we can know the hear. And also the commissioner of police in Abuja, Mr. Disu. Yeah. And they have even said, they've issued a 2 weeks ban on them. Now you can't do whether bola, whether picking aluminium. You can't do that now for now in Abuja for the next. I think 1 week is gone. In the next 1 week is, So they want to profile them. They want to know who and who are involved in these activities of selling iron, buying irons, and the like. So for that reason, it has been placed. They've placed a ban, a 2 weeks ban, which I totally support. And I also expect that we can also do something similar in Lagos, because Lagos is also not immune from these activities of vandalism of public infrastructure. We saw what happened to the Third Mainland Bridge when this holistic repair or rehabilitation of the Third Mainland Bridge, not up to 1 week or 2 weeks, they started removing the railings. We saw it. Until they now install the cameras and the light to also, give a warning that if you are caught, I expect that we should also emulate what the FCT has done. That if you are caught, I know there are laws against, vandalization of public infrastructures, and I know there are laws. But if those laws are not given the necessary bite, I think this is the high time for us to make this law to really take a proper effect.
Yes, since you mentioned that, there are some that are just mostly opportunists who come around to steal things like that, and we often wonder why such acts would take place. And to cap it all, you find them in areas they call, like in Abuja or Kaduna, they call them Panteka. So areas where they take all these things to, and they also have people that buy from them. Obviously, it's not going to be strange if you see something round it, like a foundry, a steel metal that is so big, and somebody brings it to you.
Where it is coming from.
Obviously, it's from a drainage system. So they also have buyers. So in these areas, if there are sellers and are willing buyers, what should
I know where you are heading to, sir, and that's just to say that for every act of corruption, because it's also part of corruption. Because if there are no buyers, of course, there won't be ready sellers. So in this case, both the buyer or the seller and the buyers are also culpable. They are liable. They are liable. Both are liable in this regard. If you drive around town, even in Lagos, most of these manholes have been stolen. They have been removed. Who are those behind it? Are this same Babambola? Sometimes you drive into a mechanic workshop, and your mechanic will be telling you, please put your eyes on your vehicle, or sometimes when you are trying to remove your tire, you need to replace and the light, your wheel spanner, all this jack and the light. Before you know it, it is gone. I've seen a couple of that in my area in Sulere. That mechanic workshop, they raised alarm that, these people, they have been here. And we just saw the guy. We didn't know that the guy was going to steal our things. It has happened a couple of times around mechanic workshops. So even at the time in Sulere, we even took that decision that we don't want to see them on the major streets. But unfortunately, that because it was just pronounced at the CDA level. So there are no laws to really back it. They back to the activities now. Most of the manholes now on the road, and that's why you see them use that they put stick to show that there's a danger, or they put tire around those to show the the motorists, those who are driving, for them to know, or pedestrian, because the where they have removed those manholes are so deep that if somebody should fall or a car even fall into that trap. You never can tell what kind of calamity we are likely to record. So people who have perpetrated such an act should also be dealt with. We shouldn't just take it like a pinch of salt. We should do the needful, and I also expect a state like Lagos, because this is also very common, because of even the population of Lagos State. I think the Lagos State government should also go, all out to enforce the law, and even make some of them to serve as deterrents to others. And it is not even, it's not rocket science. Since we are aware of those who are behind it, we know them. So we can't say we don't know them. We know them, we know they call them Babambola. And when you see them, you can easily identify them. So what we now, okay, you want to come?
Yes, yes. I since you mentioned, I already mentioned it earlier, but I'm looking at situation. Yeah, there's a particular set of people they call Babambola. But even at that, don't you think some people disguise as Babambola? And they are not Babambola, and they also go
they are very
to steal.
Rare. They are very rare.
Because if you say yes, they may be termed as Babambola, but there are some people that are not Babambola and they still steal.
They are very rare. Please, let us say it the way it is. They are very rare. What you have just pointed out, we can't say it cannot be. But out of 10 of them that are arrested, or that are into this unlawful acts, we know that we can say easily 8 or 9 are from this part of the country or are from this set of people. We know them, and they also know themselves. So what I expect now for us to, number one, government should see a way of getting them arrested. It can no longer be business as usual, because those things are like a death trap. When they remove the manholes, that means they expose the motorists, they expose even the pedestrian to danger. So people who perpetrate such an act, if you call them the enemy of the state, we are not over buttressing it. They are enemy of the state. Let us call them what they are. And government should go all out to enforce the law against the vandalism or vandalization, as the case may be, of public infrastructure. Government should do that.
Yes, between January last year and February of last year, we had about 117 transmission lines that were vandalized, and it cost, like, according to the estimate, about 12-point-something billion to fix. Now, if this continues to happen, and we still have more people doing this, and no arrest has been made, or even if arrests are made, that we don't see prosecution to serve as deterrents. Don't you think some of these things may still want to encourage people to go into it?
Well, just like you said earlier, that if there are no real buyers, there can be real sellers. So we are talking of it's like corruption. If somebody is not ready to take bribe, definitely there won't be somebody who is ready to also pay bribe. So in that case, both the payer and the receiver of the bribe, they're also culpable, they're also liable. And I'm happy the FCT instance that we have mentioned, at the moment, some part of Abuja are in darkness because of the attack on electricity installation. They were vandalized. All these very strong cables of, I don't know the kilowatt of the transmitter that they mentioned. But as we speak now, some part of about 40% of part of the FCT, they are in darkness. And that has been the case for, I think, almost over a week ago, because of the activities of this same set of people. So if those who have been arrested, particularly those ones that were paraded by the FCT police commissioner, Mr. Tunji Disu, if they were not taken to court, and if the law if the law does not take a precedent, does not take the course in this regard, that means we are just playing around the bush. Let those who have been arrested take them to court, charge them, and let's see whether those who may also have the intention of doing so, we also want to continue. Because if you hear that so person among you has been sentenced either 6 months or even asked to pay a fine of about, the fine should not be something that they can easily pay, because that's one side of our law. The law for somebody who has committed a crime, we say you either go to jail for 6 months or 1 year, or you pay a token fine of about 100,000 naira, which is very easy for some people to easily pay and go back to that illicit activities. So let the sanction be so that when you think about it, you also think twice before also going into committing such a crime.
Yes, we're hoping that this will happen and things will really change. But as we speak with you, this is affecting the socioeconomic activities of the country. And even the telecommunication agencies or companies too are also feeling the heat.
Yes.
Because between certain period, they also lost about 50,000 kilometers of fiber optics to vandalization. And that has also hindered their services, and they're using some kind of about 14 something billion to so some of these things are actually there, and they do happen. And I'll still go back to prosecution. How can we encourage prosecution? Because some of these things, even if the arrests were made, how can we encourage prosecution for the law to take its course, and then for the security agencies also to have more proactiveness in tackling the job?
Okay, for the telecoms, it is not just these same characters that we are talking about, this set of people that are really the brain behind the attacks on the telecoms. We also know that the Boko Haram elements are also part of those who have been attacking telecoms infrastructure just to deny people from reaching the police or reaching the military, So if they have that kind of sophisticated mind that let's, puncture, let's, collapse the telecom sector, the telecoms infrastructure, to deny the people the ability to reach out, either even to their relatives for help, that means they are proactive. The same way our military, the same way our security operatives must also be proactive in nature. And coming back to either the manholes removal, we know that most of these things are not done in the daylight. They are done either in the wee hours of the night or very early in the morning. So we can easily set trap for them. And we know where all these the manholes are located. So it is not rocket science, except if our security agents or agencies are not ready to do the needful. For telecoms, if you from the statistic that you have, if you also go deep, if you also look back and review that statistic, you will know that most of them are also, the attack came from either the Boko Haram element or the insurgents. And the reason is what I've just highlighted, just to deny them from reaching out to security agency for help, or either the police or the military, or even to call on their neighbors for help, or even to tell their neighbors what they have suffered. So they are being proactive in ensuring that they destroy the telecom mast or the telecom infrastructure just to deny the people, those who they want to attack, access to calling people or sending message or even doing in WhatsApp, just to collapse that aspect of their lives. And that means they are also proactive in nature. So it's a lesson for we, and also by extension our security agencies, that you can set trap, you can even use technology. Drone is there to capture these people, to all those where we have this. You can use drone to monitor, and when you see somebody coming near to tap or to attack or to vandalize, you can easily raise alarm, and they will be arrested. For me, it's not rocket science. If you really want to get down to arrest these people and prosecute them.
Yes, Nigerians would wonder why, how these things are taken away. And now, who are these people buying them? Is it that when you cut cables that has to do with transmission, it is not useful for you?
Of course.
Is it that they resell?
There is a ready buyer.
Or there are some ready buyers outside Nigeria or somewhere, because
there is a ready. If you permit me to also mention this very popular market, is it Owode Oniri? Where for those who are transacting business that are genuine, that are sincere to them, I say kudos to you. But for those who are also the receiver or the buyers of all these stolen items, I say to you, one day the long arm of the law will surely catch up or caught up with you, because you are also part of the enemy of the state. You may think that you are making business, you are making bricks business. People are bringing stolen items to you. On the day they are caught, the security men will ask them, take us to the buyers of all these stolen items. And that's when you know that it is not for the Christmas. For those who buy, they must know that they are also putting the lives of some ordinary, innocent people at risk. They make us so vulnerable. You can't drive on the street now so easily. Before you drive like about a few kilometers, manholes have been removed. Virtually on all the bus stops, virtually on all major roads. And you see, committed resident now putting stick, put red flag to show that there is a danger around this place, or they put tire around those very big holes. How many tires are we going to put? How many sticks are we going to put? Some even in the daylight, I've seen, that manhole removed, causing a major accident, even in the daylight. Much more in the broad daylight, how much more maybe in the night or when it is dark. So we have to be very, there must be a conscious effort in arresting this situation. And I want to reiterate that what the step that has been taken in the FCT, it is not bad for every other state of the federation to also emulate. The first thing they did in FCT was to first place a ban on Babambola activities for 2 weeks. Within that 2 weeks, they asked them, we want to profile you. We want to know those so that they can register them. So they are not saying that they are not going to operate. They first place a ban for 2 weeks. Now they profile them, they can identify them, they can know where they are, and they also monitor their activities. So that's what I expect other states, particularly Lagos, because most of the roads, most of the infrastructures are vandalized. Go to Tombelan Bridge, Eco Bridge, all the railings have been removed continuously. And there's a ready market, just like there's a ready seller and there's a ready buyer. So I'm saying it loud and clear on the national TV, those of you outside there that also buy this product, you should know that is it one day for the owner and like they used to say.
Every day for the thief, one day for the owner.
On the day those people are caught, you will also be caught, and you will be in that hot soup together.
Yes, there are consequences for some of these things. That as we round up now, are we looking at the socioeconomic challenges as factors to some of the people going, although there is no justification for it?
So ignorance is not an excuse before the law. Just like what we were discussing before we came into the studio, the sad case of the Suleja, the Niger State, and the fuel tanker explosion. It's a very sad one, but you can't hold government responsible. You can't say because we know there is hunger in the land. We know that there is economic hardship, and government is not also laid back. They're also finding means to also cushion the effect. So how can we had an incident of a tanker falling down, and people will resort to want to go and want to go and take from that fuel. How much are you going to sell it, for God's sake? Let's even say fuel is now around 1,100 naira per liter, 1,500. At worst, we can't get more than 10 liters for around 1,000, 1,200 or 250 thereabouts. Or 10,000 naira. Is that what going?
Let me just interject you, because my producer is also saying that those ones have committed suicide, which I think is true. They have committed suicide because you are seeing dangerous situation, and you know that you can avoid it. Because of your greediness.
That's why I said ignorance is not an excuse before the law. I know that part of the country, and you also recall that it also happened in Jigawa around about I think about 4 or 5 months ago, that we lost, I think, even more than the casualty that we recorded in Niger State. The same Niger State about 2 years ago, a year plus, it happened in Suleja. So it has become a recurring decimal for us to have a tanker crash. We are not talking of even diesel or kerosene. We are talking of highly inflammable material.
Yeah, petrol is highly inflammable.
Highly inflammable. So I don't know whether they don't have the knowledge. I'm not holding forth for them, because these people, most of them are dead now and quite unfortunate. You can't really put the entire blame on government. Are you saying that if you are told now that there are bags of rice or beans or garri somewhere else, and they have an ancestral dog or they have a lion manning that room where the bag of rice are kept, bag of beans are kept, bag of garri are kept, and you are aware that there is a lion. Will you say because you are hungry you want to enter into lion's den to go and carry bag of rice or garri? It's like you are committing suicide. The same thing is applicable to this. People felt like, oh, it's a national cake. It's an opportunity for me to also get something. Whereas the danger, the consequence go far beyond what, the economic benefits, and we can see where it has landed us. About 80 people have died, given a mass burial. About over 50 people are on emergency.
Some have about 80 degrees of
burns.
burns.
So how would they even survive?
Imagine the pain that they're going through now.
How would they survive?
And even if they survive it, they still have to go through
so many
stages
surgery they can
before
survive. So
it's rather unfortunate that this is happening.
I think we should even declare days of mourning, because you can't talk about close to 90 people roasted, and it seems like a business as usual. Government has issued condolence messages, but I also expect that if we declare days of mourning, is not an overstatement for us to do that.
I can tell you for free that my producer Nick DB agrees into with whatever you are saying. She's even saying it is 96, that is not even 80.
Because some of those who are in the hospital have also, we learned about 3 or 4. I've also died because of the burns.
Well, that is greediness, according to her too. Is greediness because you are saying something that you're not supposed to go pick, and you're going there to pick it.
Highly inflammable
that's
material.
greediness.
Highly inflammable.
Well, I don't think we may want to empathize or sympathize with people like that. On that note, we have come to the end of Top Point today. 767 and 112 still remains the lines to call. Thank you so much, Taiwo Olapade, for being part of Top Point. Let's always do what is right. Let's ensure that we're patriotic enough so that we don't put ourselves or plunge ourselves into issues that can lead to loss of lives or inconveniences for others. I am Momolulu Rousseau. See you some other time.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government.